this MoveOn.org, which was created specifically as the brown shirts of the Clinton crime family. That's correct. Deal with it. Then they have these phony think tanks, which are larded up with ex-White House staffers and other buffoons. And then we get to this group run by David Brock called Media Matters. And you suckers in the media, you suck it up and you spew it out. I knew David Brock when he was conservative and Republican and would weasel into my office. Mark, look at all the stuff I have on the Clintons. Look. Good, David. Very exciting. Now leave. But suddenly he had an epiphany. He realized he wasn't a conservative. No, he was a liberal. And everybody, he said, attacked him because he was gay. Well, I knew he was gay. I considered him a good guy. Who cares? But now I consider him a loathsome hack without principle. Period. And he's hired other loathsome hacks from Capitol Hill, from the Clinton White House, to work at this group called Media Matters. Media Matters, which they set up as a non-profit, non-partisan, that's right, tax-exempt organization. It's not allowed to get involved in politics. Not bipartisan, none. It's not allowed to simply be an organization that advances an ideological war, because you and I are subsidizing it. It's tax-exempt. And yet, they have never criticized a leftist talk show host on Air America. Never. They have never criticized Keith Olbermann. Never. And they only criticize the media when the media does a story that is unfavorable to the crime family leaders, which would be Hillary Rodham and B.J. Bill Clinton. I believe they are in clear violation of the Internal Revenue Code, the 501c3 status that's been conferred on them. I believe every time they file a tax return telling the government that we're non-political, non-partisan, and that they sign that tax return under penalty of perjury, I believe that they're committing perjury. If there was ever a lawsuit against this group, and there was full discovery of emails and phone logs and testimony under oath during depositions, the whole game would be up, and they'd be completely exposed for what they are, which is a criminal enterprise in the sense that they are, in my view, violating the tax codes. Tax code, that is. Here's how it works. They record all of our shows, then they try and take a snippet, and they basically freeze a sentence or two, or 2 words, or whatever it is, and then they create the context for the words. They put the spin on it. It's always the leftist spin aimed at hurting the conservative talk show host. And that is exactly what they've done to Rush when he talked about phony soldiers. The idea in any thinking person's mind that Rush would be calling anyone legitimately in the military a phony soldier is crazy. You know it, and I know it, but it doesn't matter to the left. The same leftists who didn't want the military personnel to vote in the 2000 election because they knew that most of those votes wouldn't go their way, the same leftists who defended Rendell in Pennsylvania and these others in some of these states, trying to block the military from voting. Now suddenly they're defending them. The same people who fund, many of them, MoveOn.org, fund Media Matters. That's exactly what goes on your dime. On your dime. I would love to see these private communications, emails, phone logs, meeting notes if they exist, between this nonpartisan public interest group, Media Matters, which is supposed to scrutinize the media, sure, and the Clinton campaign and other Clinton operatives. I don't like what they're doing to Bill O'Reilly either. I'm not the biggest Bill O'Reilly fan, to be honest with you. And the fact that he sucks up by having Sharpton and Jackson on his show raises them up as people who will decide whether or not he's a racist is self-defeating and embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But having said that, to try and create a scenario or to twist the guy's words by taking him out of context is nuts. O'Reilly's a racist, and Limbaugh's anti-military. Think about it, folks. And this is why you have nothing but contempt for the Chris Matthews and the other former Democrat operatives who now pose as journalists and spew their partisan poison. This is why you detest the Keith Olbermanns, who take the information from Media Matters, in essence, a go-between between Clinton and Soros and him, and spews them as if they're fact. Your instincts are right. You have every reason to detest them. The Associated Press wire service keeps repeating the lies about Rush that were fed to it by the Clinton Media Matters organization. AP puts this story out again this evening because they want it to run all weekend long, and they want the idiots who run the Sunday shows, the Democrats who run them, Tim Russert, George Stephanopoulos, what's the old man's name? I can't remember. Oh, Bob Schieffer? That's right, all Democrats. Oh, he's an independent. What's the difference? And they want to keep spewing it. That's our liberal theme song. From now on, that's our Media Matters theme song that will play for every liberal. Hit it!
Baby, don't hurt me no more.
For the little Stalinist goose kickers. I can hear them now. Whoa! Hey, you hear what Levin said? Play that back. Let's get a transcript. Hurry up. Get it to Nora O'Donnell over there at MSLSD. Hey, where's our source at AP? Slip them one, yes. Hit it. Oh, yeah, they have their little 14-year-olds manning the microphones and the tape machines over there, yes. Wow, did you get that? Up the volume. Hey, did you hear what Rush said? Hey, who's got the Hannity stuff? Hey, whoa, look at that O'Reilly. We got O'Reilly, look at that. All right, pull it all together. Give it to Keith Olbermann. He's a good flack. He's a good sieve. Give it to Overbite. Here now, I want you to hear the actual words of an actual jerk. And let's see how the media react to this. This is the slip and fall lawyer who goes by the name of John Edwards.
What would you do to help eliminate inner city kids partake in violence?
That's a good question. The answer's a little long, so bear with me, because I don't think there's a silver bullet for this. We start with the President of the United States saying to America, we cannot build enough prisons to solve this problem. And the idea that we're just going to keep incarcerating, pretty soon we're not going to have a young African-American male population in America. They're all going to be in prison or dead, one of the two.
We're not going to have a young African-American male population in America. They're all going to be in prison or dead, one of the two. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a thoroughly stupid man. Thoroughly stupid. But now I ask you, are we going to be dragging in the likes of Al Not-So-Sharpton to comment on this? We're going to be hearing from Jesse Jerkson and Al Not-So-Sharpton deciding whether or not John Edwards is a racist? Will he be criticized on Keith Overbite's show, Countdown to No Ratings? How about on Jimmy Carter Hack Friend show, Screwball on Screwball, a.k.a. Chris Matthews, whatever the hell it's called? Or what about the Morning Schmo? The weasel former Republican congressman, the Morning Schmo, sitting there with his gibberish, with the Brzezinski, I guess that's Brzezinski's daughter. I don't have, how many Brzezinskis are there in the phone book? Brzezinski there, smiling, laughing. They're having a grand old time. The problem is nobody's watching. And why should they? Losers and boring. And what's the other guy's name? Geist? Isn't his father on some show? I mean, what is all this ancestral stuff going on? Oh, it's MSLSD, I forgot. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of carbon emissions to be saved by shutting down that putrid little non-existent network.
Mark Levin.